That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
What is up, fam? We are back for another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rochelle, being joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Zachary Burr. Zach, what is up, my friend? How you feeling? You looking loose tonight?
Today, Steven. Fuck everybody. I was supposed to umpire 3 games. And it turned into 2 because of the stupid rain, so I lost some money. But then we won some money betting earlier. We just hit the 5-team parlay. You know, me and you were talking about it before I came on the air. Won close to $100. It's all good, homie. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna talk some baseball. Gonna talk some football. We got a few guests lined up tonight. We're gonna be joined by Seth Baczynski, the Polish Postola. He's gonna be returning to action August 28th. We're gonna be joined at 9:30 by Shannon the Cannon Rich, and he's going to be making his Ragnarok bare knuckle boxing debut August 21st. That's going to be in Norway. That should be another fun one. But without anything else that we really got to talk about tonight, we got to get into one thing first, real quick, before we get into all the tomfoolery that we normally getting into over here. And
tomfoolery.
Oh, we're always getting a tomfoolery over here. What are you talking about?
I thought you said Chuck Woolery. I'm sorry. Remember the old host of Love Connection and all those game shows back in the day, Chuck Woolery? Oh, you remember? See, that's right. You remember being at your grandmom's house in the late 80s watching the Love Connection. Don't lie. See?
But anyways, if you're looking to buy, sell a home, looking to change your career brokerage, contact Alan Foy Expo Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit them at Alan Foy at AlanFoyExpoRealty.com. And we got a fun one for you guys tonight. I want to get everyone's opinions and thoughts on what's going on. Obviously, a cosmic shift and change going on here with our Phillies. Another big win tonight. Another big win. Racking them up now. And my poll question is I'm going to pose to the fam, everyone out there, is will the Phillies hold off the divisional foes to win the NL East? Agree to disagree? I want to hear everyone's thoughts on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever your poison is. Hop in the chat. Let me know what everyone's feeling tonight. Definitely another fun one. Another one from the boys doing their thing right now. So let's go. Right, my friend?
What do you think, Steven? You think we're going to win it? What are you going to think? What do you think?
I don't know, man. Like me and you talked about it. I think at this point in time, I think I might be right about where my win total was, but I think we both have to kind of adjust what our kind of coming in the season predictions was. You said divisional title and much more wins. You can't really argue it when you're kind of looking at the landscape, seeing what your divisional opponents are having to go up against. Right now the Mets is kind of the one we're gonna have to batten down a little bit. We got the series right now, looking good right now. The boys are doing their thing, right? So who's to sit there and say? I want to hear why you want to think they can't wind up pulling the division off, regardless of how bad you feel that the bullpen is, regardless of how you feel they're inadequate here, they're inconsistent here, there. Just look at what's going on around. You can't really sit there and say that they can't pull off and keep where they're at and win this division with what they have coming ahead. Wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, I think everything's changed. Like, in a couple weeks, it's amazing. Like the tone with this team, and it's not just the way we talk about them. When you watch them on the field, the energy, the attitude, everything about them, they look. Agree or disagree to the poll right now? How can you not agree right now? You got to agree to it because they look like a team that believes in themselves. they feel as if they're the team to beat in the NL East. And right now they're playing like it. And, we've bitched all year long about how inconsistent they've been. All of a sudden they've won 7 in a row. And as Brian Wilson says, right, as B. Willie says, the Phils are rolling, right? Like, we're rolling right now. For the first time all year, they're rolling like we're on a legitimate, winning streak where it looks like we're actually building momentum towards something as opposed to just kind of trying to figure everything out. We had that little 5-game winning streak earlier in the year where it kind of seemed like are we figuring it out or not? And we weren't, right? But now it's there, and they finally put it all together. We talked about it last week. I wish we would have done a little bit more than Gibson and Kennedy at the deadline, but sometimes you don't have to be sexy to make the perfect acquisition or to make the the best acquisition isn't always the sexy acquisition, right? And Gibson's been really good since he came here, and Kennedy had his bet. Tonight that was big time. The energy was there at the end of the game, right? He looked like he was excited to be closing out a game in a playoff environment, and you can't help but get fired up for it, right, dude? I mean, it's like we were talking before we went on the show. It's like, in some ways, it's the most excited you've been about a Phillies team in a Phillies series this late in the year in like a decade since that 2011 team that was, you knew was going to the playoffs and had a chance to go all the way. It might be that long. It might not be that crazy to say it's been that long since we've been this fired up about a Phillies series.
I don't know which way you're going with that, Pete. You're confusing me, right?
Yeah, Peterson. I disagree to the poll because I had the Phillies winning the East came up. They won 7 in a row, so I got to keep that good. I've got no idea what the hell's going on there. Whatever you're smoking, bro. I need some. Holy shit, that's some good stuff. Anyway, Steven, you said I had us winning 95 games. That's also when I thought the division was going to be a lot better. Remember, I said before the year I thought there was a good chance the Mets, the Braves, the Nationals, the Phillies, all of us would.
This is what me and you were talking about. What Matt's bringing up right here now.
Right. The Mets are done. I mean, they made the move for Baez, and Baez went 0 for 5 the other night with 5 strikeouts on Thursday night. Before they came to Philly, like Baez is a guy. Yeah, it's a sexy name. And he's a good bat in a lineup where you've got a bunch of other guys around him, but he's not going to carry your lineup. Like, he's not going to be a guy that's going to step in and carry your lineup on his back. He's just never been that guy. And they've got the hardest schedule in baseball remaining. We've got the easiest. And the Braves, I believe, have like the 4th or 5th easiest. So I feel like we're going to battle with Atlanta down the stretch more than anything, and that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to have that, that rivalry again, kind of heated up at great, at a nice time. We always, those teams. It seemed like when we were just starting to get good, right? Like 03, 04, 05, we were just starting to figure it all out. Atlanta was really, that's who we were always battling with, Atlanta. And then as we became the World Series team, it was the Mets. But it'll be nice to have that little rivalry with Atlanta again, right? And I think that's what it's going to be down the stretch. Right now, there is nothing to like make you say this team is not, going to go, make it happen down the stretch for me right now. I don't care that we're not going to win the 95 games. I don't like I said. I think we talked about before the show.
Even the Mets fans are here sitting there saying that they're not doing it. Love it.
Yeah. See the Mets fan. That's kind of crazy.
And it's the big
fans,
one. Big one tomorrow. You stick to 4.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tommy. We got Wheeler going tomorrow. Oh, it'd be so nice to sweep him out the building. Oh man, that'd be big time stuff. Big time stuff, right? But yeah, I mean, I haven't been this excited about a Phillies team in a long time, and I didn't think I'd say that 2 weeks ago. Like, I really didn't think I'd say that 2 weeks ago. But it is what it is right now. That's the ebbs and flows of baseball sometimes, and you get into the playoffs, anything can happen, right? That's what we say with it. I mean, if Nola figures everything out, you got Nola and Wheeler. That's a really, really good 1-2 punch. Gibson there's a good 3. Eflin there when he comes back is a good 4. The lineup, if it's hot, it can score, just as many runs and be the, one of the best offenses in baseball, and you don't have to worry about any of that. So why not? Go get it. Let's have some fun down here down the stretch in the second half of the year. I thought this division was going to be a dogfight where you'd have maybe 4 teams with the winning record, and now you might only have 1 team with the winning record at the end of it, depending on what happens down the stretch. But who cares? Who cares? You're not even looking at a win total as much as you're just looking at how many games ahead are we of Atlanta and New York. You don't care if you win 85 games, 90 games. You don't care how many games you win. You're just looking at, your cushion as far as how many games you have to go win the National League East, because that's kind of where you're at right now. You're probably not going to there's no way you're going to win the wild card, right? You're not going to have two playoff teams out of the East. Like the West is way too competitive. The Dodgers, Giants out there, at one point were the best team in baseball, kind of cooled off a little bit. The Rockies have a winning record, right? San Diego obviously is really good. You're going to have three teams right there, that it's like one of them is going to win the division, one of them is going to win one of the wild card spots. You could have both of your wild card teams come out of the National League West. At this point, that's how good it is, right? So
I wouldn't be surprised about that either.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be either. At this point, I'm almost expecting it to be the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres, all three of them making the playoffs. So you almost, that's what you're playing for right now. You're playing for the division. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, Matt. Dominguez coming back is huge. A guy coming off of Tommy John, but we were so excited about him, early on, right in his career before all that. Flame throwing back then. He was the only guy doing the Kapler regime where we were like, man, wow, we really like this guy in the bullpen, right? He was the only guy. And that's kind of what made you feel like at that time, even when we had the division lead, those couple years there with Kapler and we collapsed down the stretch, you never felt like it was real. This feels real. You know what I mean? Like this team feels real, and you think that they kind of feel the same way about themselves. And like, dude, you just be along for the ride. Enjoy this. It's been a long time since we could have this in Philly, where you had the Sixers were really good. You can enjoy this Phillies team. We almost don't really have any expectations for the Eagles, so you're kind of going to either way, right? We're excited about the Eagles season because it's almost like you can't disappoint me this year. If we suck, I was kind of already expecting that, and if we're good, hey, awesome. We love that obviously too, right? So what a great time to be a Philadelphia sports fan right now. And a month ago, I don't know if we were thinking the same way. A month ago, we were really, really disappointed in where we were as Philadelphia fans. Shortly after the Sixers Hawks series, right? We got beat by Atlanta. You were not in a happy place as a Philadelphia sports fan, but we are right now. So, happy day.
For the time being. For the time being.
That's always the way it works. Sure. Yeah, of course. Until, that's why we can't have nice things here, Steven. We know. We talked about that point of it too. But you're not supposed to be negative. We're not going to
be negative. I'm with you. Kind of enjoy the moment, see where it takes us. Have no
smack the negative out of you.
Have no expectations on this team, but definitely feel that they could definitely pull a playoff spot that definitely could win the division here. It's really in their hands. They control it. Just take care of what's in front of you. I think we have a West Coast trip at some point in time within the next month or so. So that's something that we have to. Not wind up on the wrong side of those series. You're gonna accumulate L's. You're gonna get bad losses. Eventually, things happen in baseball. But hey, man, looking good. Like we talked about before. What wasn't really too upset with the Hold on. Well, you want to go back to Johnny's comment?
Yeah, can you go back to that comment? I mean, finish your point, but I want to stay on his comment for a minute.
No, go ahead. Go start on this comment. Go ahead. Because I left it up there. I agree with
that's why I was about to flip it. If Nola can get in his rhythm, but and I listen. I thought the home plate umpire zone was all over the place today too. But here's the thing with that: bitching about the zone when it was all over the place today is ridiculous, because it was really, really bad both ways. I mean, you had Girardi came out and was mad at the umpire at one point. Rojas from the METS came out and was bitching at him at one point. So it was just bad. What doesn't help when an umpire isn't helping you is sitting there and having body language like Ranger Suarez had the entire time, bending over and grabbing your knees and humping and puffing and making a scene about the fact that you didn't get the call on a pitch you thought was a strike. It doesn't help. And it's kind of like at the big league level, like we're aware, like that's just the way it goes, right? There's certain ways to go about things. And I don't think he was doing anything to help himself when it came to getting calls from the home plate umpire. So I'm not going to bitch about that. The zone was bad. Sure. We're in complete agreement there. No idea where it was at all game, both ways. But, there's a certain way to go about that, handling that as a pitcher, and Ranger Suarez didn't help himself. So I like the way Real Muto handled it. He seemed to be, standing up for his pitcher, especially when they went out and and Girardi made the move to finally make the move to JD Hammer. Initially, it looked like Real Muto was really, really giving it to the home plate umpire, and then Girardi was giving it to him a little bit, and Harper wasn't happy with him a little bit, and showed him that a little bit. I mean, those guys, but those are guys that understand how to do it the right way, right? Suarez wasn't doing that, so.
At the end of the day, another win, another big Brad Miller bomb. As long as he keeps finding his stroke and crushing the pitches that he needs to at the end of the day, like I said, enjoy what you're getting out of this team.
Is he not one of the? You talk about utility players, bench players, right? Like he's World Series teams. We had Eric Bruntlett in 2008, right? A guy that stinks. I mean, let's be honest, he stunk. Nobody's ever going to remember him, but we remember him in this city just because he's a guy that played 4 or 5 different positions for us. Played some second base, some shortstop, some third base. Played left field when we needed a defensive replacement for Pat Burrell.
He's a good monkey wrench. He's a good monkey wrench.
He's a guy that championship teams need to have on their 25-man roster to complete everything. And Brad Miller's that guy. I mean, this is a guy that's got 12 home runs for you, playing 5 different positions, coming off your bench. He's an important player for a playoff team like us. You need a guy like that down the stretch as you make a run down the stretch drive in September. And that's one of the underrated players on this team this year. One of the underrated moves that we've had is a guy like that, and making sure that he's in a position with this team where he could do a lot of different things in a lot of different ways.
Big Frank's agreeing with it too. Frank's
because playoff teams, they need guys like that. You look at every single playoff team, they have a guy like that, and I guess he's that guy this year. He's the Eric Bruntlett of this team, or whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? That's just, You remember the '93 team had multiple guys like that. They had multiple guys that came off the bench, and you were just like, "Oh, that guy! What a bench player he is!" Right?
Jim Eisenreich.
Well, Eisenreich was, for the most part, wasn't he an everyday player in right field?
Nah, didn't he platoon Milt?
I thought Milt platooned with Pina Cavilla in left field. It was Milt and Inky that platooned in left field, wasn't it?
Maybe I'm thinking about when he was with the Marlins, when him and Dalton went down there in '97 and won that.
I remember correctly. My dad and my older brother, they loved that '93 team. It was Milt and Inky that platooned in left. Mariano Duncan and Mickey Morandini platooned at second base, and
Kevin Stocker, the rookie.
Stocker came up. Maybe they had one other platoon. Eisenreich, maybe Wes Chamberlain was a guy that would play a lot, in right field. They'd give Eisenreich days off, or get Eisenreich breaks. They'd take him out in the middle. Chamberlain was a really, really good bench player on that team that spent a lot of time playing all the different outfield positions. We had him on, obviously, right? Some love to our man Wes Chamberlain, since Give
Wes a little love right there. Give Wes a little love right there.
But obviously, we just talked about 3 guys right there. Mariano Duncan, Wes Chamberlain, Milt Thompson. You're talking about guys. Kim Batiste was the guy on that '93 team that was really important, right?
With you there, Mike. Ring that fucking bell, dude. We got to ring that motherfucker. Take the advantage of what we got right now.
This team almost, if Ian Kennedy can turn into a guy like what we saw, you got to love when you get 2 guys on base, and then he bared down. His fastball was working. Him and JT got together. They stuck with the fastball. They strike out back-to-back batters, right? Like, that's big-time stuff. If he can figure that out down the stretch, and he's kind of that rock in the back end of your bullpen, look out. Because all of a sudden this team could become really good. Offensively, they got everything you need. And that's not only in the starting lineup, that's also on the bench, with the guys we've talked about there.
Well, no, that's one of the things me and you talked about. We were like, we don't really need like a bat. It'd be nice if you could get a couple of the younger guys to get an established guy like me and you were talking about.
But would have been cool.
It's not something we needed. Like if it was something that was offered and we could make it happen, then yeah. But me and you both talked about we were looking more at pitching and to kind of leave the real chemistry of this team alone. That we felt like they were good there.
And Gibson and Kennedy for Spencer Howard, and two guys that nobody's ever going to hear of in their entire major league and their entire professional baseball career. Those two dudes will probably be playing in the Atlantic League in 3 years. You know what I mean? And one will be in the Mexican League and in the next major league movie in 5 years, and one's going to be playing in the Atlantic League. And it's like so. Like, we literally gave up Spencer Howard for Ian Kennedy and Kyle Gibson. That's not bad. Like, that's well done on Dombrowski's part. And I was very critical. You remember I made a Facebook post about it and everything. Because, I wanted a guy like Barrios, a sexy name like Kimbrel or somebody like that. But,
I mean, you both did. We were upset. Obviously our poll last week kind of,
Hey, what was the move in 2008? That was the big move that got us over the hump and won us the championship when we all wanted that sexy name at the deadline. And we didn't get it. Who's the guy?
Joe Blanton.
Joe Blanton, right? And it was a guy you're like, fucking Joe Blanton. But Joe Blanton ended up being, sometimes it's the move. It's not the sexy move that ends up being the best move. And maybe that's this move for us this year, If it helps you get into the playoffs down the stretch, it's everything that you needed it to be.
No, we have another one. Can Kennedy be our Brad Lidge? I don't know. He doesn't need to be though. We don't really need him to be. We just need
stupid. That's a really, really stupid.
Well, no, not really, because we're making the reference. We're making the reference to both. Still, we're making the reference to those championship teams. So, like, I get where he's trying to stay with that reference.
Let's go back to you before. Who was the guy that was big time when he made the switch to the bullpen in 07 and helped us win the National League East? Brett Myers, right? If Ian Kennedy can be like Brett Myers was down the stretch for us in the bullpen as a guy that you were like, wow, like, man, like, what a savior this guy's been to come out of the rotation and leave the rotation and come into the bullpen when we really needed a guy in the back end of the bullpen that could shut guys down. And Brett Myers became that rock in 2007 as we went and won the National League East. I think that's a good comparison for what Ian Kennedy, can he be that guy? Brad Lidge was an elite closer in Houston, and then he came to us and was an elite closer. I don't like that, but I do like the idea of Ian Kennedy's a former starting pitcher, now is a bullpen guy. Brett Myers, was he Lee Smith? Was he Mariano Rivera? No, but he was just a guy that in 07 when we needed somebody like that down the stretch to be big time in the back end of your bullpen, he was that guy. Kennedy can be that guy. We're in good shape.
Yeah, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think he needs to be completely lights out Brad Lidge. We don't need him. We just need him to be better than the guy who's been freaking sneaking it up for us the last few years. That's all.
My hope would be at some point Kennedy's your ninth inning guy, and then you're hoping to find kind of what we had there if you want to talk about Lidge. Now, here's a good maybe little, conversation we always had with Lidge, and then we had Madsen in the eighth inning, right? We had Ryan Madsen in the eighth inning and the bridge to Lidge, right? Ryan Madsen in the eighth inning and the bridge to Lidge in the ninth. And you really felt confident if you got to that eighth inning with the lead with those Phillies teams that you were going to hold it out, because you had Madsen and Lidge then there to shut the door for you. And if you could find can Archie Bradley become that eighth inning guy? Can Jose Alvarado be that eighth inning guy? If you can find
I'm not giving him any more thought anymore, Jason. I'm not. me and Zach has lost enough hair, sleep.
I just need Neris to be a guy that I can bring in at any point. If I need, if there's guys on first and second with one out in the sixth inning, and I need 2 outs here to get out of the inning, I can bring in Neris. If it's the seventh inning, I don't need Neris to have a role. I just need him to get guys out all over my bullpen, and that's fine. I think Kennedy right now, you want him to be your closer, obviously. And we ripped him a lot because he got off to a rough start since the trade. Okay. That'll happen, right? Tonight was big for him to shut them down tonight after a couple guys getting on. You're like, oh, here we go again. Jesus Christ. I don't know who that scrub was that gave up the 3 home runs in a row, but I mean, dude, like, send him on the bus back to wherever the fuck. I don't know where we called them up from one of our minor league places, but good Lord. Make him walk back. He doesn't even get to ride the fucking bus. Jesus Christ. That guy, you could almost tell by Girardi, the look on Girardi's face when they went out to get him, like, good luck, kid, like this. Best of luck on your future endeavors. It's like Vince McMahon firing a WWE guy. Like, best of luck on your future endeavors because you won't be pitching for this team again. But we need a guy, obviously.
Jason's helping you out there.
Yeah, Lavera, there we go. We need a guy that can't happen, right? That 5-0 game can't become 5-3, and all of a sudden we're sweating it, and we need Ian Kennedy to get me 2 big outs with guys on first and second. That should have never happened. Should have never happened. It should have never come down to that. So you need a guy like Archie Bradley to step up, Alvarado, maybe a combination of those 2 guys, and maybe a third guy in there. Whatever it is, you need somebody that. Because if Kennedy's going to be your guy in the 9th, you need a couple guys
like what I see from Archie's.
To be the guys for you in the 8th inning.
I like what I see at least from Archie's social. Like he's really excited for the stretch run. Especially with a lot of the games we got going at the bank. I think we're well over 10 games above 500 at home. It plays into us. We know that the advantage we have it in the bank, and it doesn't matter which team we're talking about. We have an advantage in our own home backyard. No matter what we're talking about, basketball, hockey, football, baseball. We have it. You ain't getting it from us. We have an advantage here because of the fans, because of the energy we bring, and that's what these guys are looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to seeing what plays out over the next month and a half, 2 months, hopefully a little bit longer than that. We'll see, but you were throwing sun out there. I know a lot of us have been hard on Bryce this season. Earlier, last few weeks we were talking about Shohei Ohtani. You're making your case for Bryce Harper to quietly start banging on that NL MVP ballot. Is that what I'm understanding, my friend?
Well, I still think Tatis is the guy as long as he doesn't miss too much time with this shoulder injury. But you got to see with that. Acuna was early in the year. I mean, the thing with it is right. The early front runners, the early season front runners. Tatis, Acuna, they're both hurt, right? They're both. Acuna's done for the year. Tatis is now hurt. We don't know what's going to happen with the shoulder or any of that. Nick Castellanos has had a really, really good year for Cincinnati, but Cincinnati might not make the playoffs, right? Say they get cold down the stretch and they miss the playoffs, and Philly's hot down the stretch and they make the playoffs, and the big reason why they make it is Bryce. You have an argument there. So there's all of a sudden, the National League MVP race is wide open, and it wasn't wide open a month ago, and all of a sudden it is. And Bryce is probably going to cool down here a little bit over the next week or so, but I think that's fine. He doesn't need to stay red hot for the next 2 months to win the award. If he's hot for the final 5 weeks of the season, right? The final month or so of August, and then all of September. And he has a huge September.
And that's normally where he turns it on, too. Anyone who's been paying attention to his career, that's normally where he goes off the wall.
September, right? And it's one of that's where you win these awards, right? Like, don't forget it. It's kind of like a one of those boxing matches where the guy that wins the first 3 or 4 rounds, if you let the guy have a strong final 3-4 rounds on you, sometimes those judges will forget about all the good you did in those first few rounds, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, like how this guy win the fight and come out of nowhere because they remember what happens late, right? And if Bryce carries this team on his back on his back to the playoffs in September and has a huge, say he has a month of September where he hits 10 or 11 home runs and has 30 RBIs just in the month of September alone, and you're like, whoa, like he has one of those Ryan Howard months that we used to see back in the day, where you're like, wow, like. Whew, man, did he do damage in this month? And you go make the playoffs. It's almost hard to not give him the award if a guy like Tatis even if Tatis comes back and plays, but say he's just not, you don't want to say he's a bad player, but if Tatis is just playing at an average level in the month of September and all of a sudden Bryce is that guy, and they're like, well, that's the hottest hitter in baseball, not even debatable right now is Bryce Harper, I think he could win the award. Yeah, I mean, I think it's that open. It's but he'll definitely get – it's you know what it is? It's kind of like how we talked about Steph Curry this year in the MVP award, in the MVP race for the NBA, where you said, will he win it? No, I don't think any of us think he's going to win it. But, man, this guy deserves a lot of talk as far as, he deserves some votes in that MVP race because, man, what he did with Golden State when they really didn't have a lot around him and what he did as far as his significance for that team's success. Bryce is kind of that guy right now, right? You're like, I don't know if he'll win the award, but he should finish second or third. He's going to get some votes, and he's going to steal some votes from some guys, and he's going to make it, a tighter race than we probably thought it was going to be 2 or 3 months ago. But I would love to see him win it. That would be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be awesome to see him go down the stretch and just be really, really special and be really hot and go and win the award? It'd just be one of those things where you'd be like, yeah, like this is one of our guys. This is why we love him. He's for the rest of his professional career, like he's gonna be loved in this city. We'll always remember this year.
I think he already is gonna be just because.
Sure, of course he will.
Just because out of all the places he chose Philadelphia. I mean, dude, be watching that guy be drafted from Washington, then watching.
But if you win an MVP award and carry a team on your back to the playoffs, we don't forget shit like that here. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, this is the city that built a statue for Nick Foles because of a game and a half. Let's be honest. If he wins an MVP award and carries this team to the playoffs, and we make any type of noise in the playoffs,
like I said,
he won't have to buy a steak dinner in this city ever again. He won't have to buy a drink at a bar ever again. He doesn't drink though, I don't think.
Here's the thing: you just won one playoff round. You don't even need to go deep. Just win a playoff round.
Yeah, just go to the NLCS, right? Like, go to the NLCS, get swept by the fucking Dodgers or something stupid, and we'll still be like, who cares? Good mission, good season, great season. Let's build on this. Let's do something next year. What we doing in the offseason to get better? Let's make a splash. Like, what are we going to do now? Now you have an excuse to go make a splash, right? Now you have this is why I went and signed a guy or traded for a guy. This is with me. You have an excuse to do it. You can pitch yourself to
me and Zach were talking about this right before we came on the air too. This is crazy.
I don't think you could play Torres over him, no, but I mean, we were talking about this. The idea of you can't keep both Bohm and Hoskins long term. I guess you can if the National League adopts a DH, and maybe that's you're like, please, for the love of God, let the National League adopt the DH, because now I don't have to worry about Bohm playing defense at all, and I could just say, Jesus Christ, please, like go fucking hit, like worry about hitting, because I think part of why he can't become the guy offensively that we want him to be is because he's too fucking worried about everything at defense, because he knows he sucks at third base, and he's too worried about the next ground ball and how embarrassed it. Oh, please don't kick this one. Please don't kick this one. Oh, please don't fuck this one up. And he's too worried about that. And I think it does affect him at the plate, because we know the guy, when you watch his approach at the plate, he's got a big league approach. We've seen the guy be able to hit the ball the other way. Things like that where you're like, oh, that's a good big league hitter right there. But why are you hitting 250 with 7 home runs and it's the middle of August? Like, he goes through stretches where he doesn't hit a ball hard for 2 weeks. And you're like, it's just, how do you go 2 weeks without hitting a ball hard? That's insane, So the National League either needs to adopt the DH, or you can't have both Hoskins and Bohm on this team long term. That's the only way it's going to work. And even if they do adopt the DH, are you really going to pay Hoskins $150 million? Because that's probably what he's going to demand. Think about these baseball contracts. He's going to want like 6 years and $150 million. He's going to want JT's contract. Actually, he's going to want more than JT's contract because he hits more home runs than JT does. He's going to say, I'm a guy that hits you 30 to 35 homers, so I want 6 years and $150 million, 6 years, $200 million. And let's be honest, there's nobody in this chat room that's going to say they're okay with giving Rhys Hoskins a 6-year, $200 million extension. It just won't happen.
No. Yeah, you think fans were upset about the Bryce Harper contract? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. But you can bet your ass that's what he's going to ask for. And even if that's top dollar, and well, you can get him for 6 years and 150 million. Do you really want to give Rhys Hoskins 6 years and 150 million? Because I think the majority of people even then would be like, I don't know. Like, I'm okay with it, but I'll tell you what, I think we could spend that $150 million in a lot better places. Because say you don't pay Hoskins that money, you can move Bone to first base. And we all know Bryson Stott is a guy that isn't that far away from the big leagues. And he's going to be a guy, whether he's playing shortstop, whether he's playing third base, whatever he's playing, he's going to be a guy in the middle of your lineup doing damage here within the next 3 years or so. And long term, maybe it's not smart to go like Hoskins is a nice player, but he's not an all-star. He's not, let's be honest about what he is, right? Like he's replaceable. You can find somebody where you're like, I don't miss him, right? Like all of a sudden you find somebody that hit in your lineup and you forgot all about Rhys Hoskins. Like, he gave me a few good years, but I don't miss the guy. It is what it is. Like for me, that's what he is. I don't think I'm paying him that money. I don't think I'm giving him that extension. I really don't.
I'm with you on that one. Like I like Rhys, but like I don't like him that much.
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah, it's not like a personal knock on. I just think from a business perspective, when you're talking about baseball as a business, yeah.
Yeah, that's not something you want to get married into. So I'm with you.
We could give Rhys $150 million, or we could go give another starting pitcher $150 million. I'll tell you what, if Jose Barrios is a free agent at the end of next year, I'd much rather, he's got this year and then he's got next year on his contract, right? I'd much rather go after a guy like Jose Barrios and give him a 4 or 5 year deal and give him like a Zach Wheeler type contract, right? As opposed to giving that money to Rhys Hoskins right now. Like that's where I'm at. Like that's that's kind of where I'm at on shit like that. Max Scherzer's in a contract year. He becomes a free agent. Can you make a run at anybody like that? I don't know, but I'd like to be able to think we have a chance. I'd rather say fuck giving Rhys Hoskins money and go get me a third ace pitcher. So now I have Wheeler, Nola, and whoever else it is to go along with Gibson. And now I'm like getting, it's a party in my pants over my starting pitching staff again, and it's like, hey, that's Studley there. Like I'm getting hard just thinking about it sort of thing, Oh, stop it, Jason. Shut up. Oh, Nola's got something going on in his head. We don't know what the fuck Nola's deal is. No, listen, this is Nola's MO. Wheeler's the true ace of this staff. Nola's a really, really good two. At times he can pitch like an ace, and that's fine. He is what he is. Like, people want him to be Greg Maddux. He's not. Like, he's just not going to ever be Greg. Nobody is. Like, I think people, when he first came out, people are like, oh, look at this kid. He throws 5 pitches. He can throw all of them for strikes, and none of them overpower you. Oh, if he could be like this, stop. Like, let guys be what they are. He's having a bit of a down year. We know he can be better than what he has been this year, right? I don't know if he's never going to win you a Cy Young award, but again, I don't need him to. Like I think that's the problem, right? People want him to be winning Cy Young awards, and he's just not that guy. But okay, that's fine. I don't need you to go win me a Cy Young award for me to be like, hey, he's a really, really good pitcher for my staff, right? Like Cole Hamels never won a Cy Young award. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, does that mean he wasn't a good pitcher for a long time? Fuck no.
No, he was routinely in the upper teens and wins for us. So
if Nola can be Nola, like at times looks like Cole Hamels, and at times reminds you of Brett Myers, right? Like that's almost where you're at. Like, some days he's Brett Myers, and some days he's Cole Hamels. And if he's kind of like you throw the two of them together, and that's what he is long term, okay, that's not a bad pitcher either. You know what I mean? That's a really, really good pitcher for your staff.
Listen, Wheeler and Nola is a really good 1-2 punch. I don't really care what you think.
And Gibson being a good 3, that's a good 1-2-3. Nola, Wheeler, Gibson.
Now we just have to find a way to get Vinny V out of the rotation, right? One more, we can find a way to get Vinny V out of the rotation. No. All right, I think we lingered on baseball long enough. Let's get into the next segment. We're going to talk a little football, and this segment is brought to you by Manscaped. Make sure you guys head over to manscaped.com, get 20% off, free shipping with the code A2D. Manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Make sure you're using that code, and make sure you're keeping it clean for the ladies, guys. Keeping it clean around that time of year. You don't need that extra trimming and an extra funk.
Hold on, and real quick, I wanted to give a shout out earlier when you mentioned Cameron Rupp because I've actually the past 3 nights I've won my biggest bets betting on baseball, all with the advice of his man Mr. Ryan Spader that he gave us a shout out on a few weeks ago. So the magic continues, and I'm a bit, I always liked Cameron when he played here, but I've never been a bigger Cameron Rupp fan in my entire life, Steven. So,
I got to send him a message and tell him you're
absolutely. Do that, Steven. And Jason's 100% right too about Eflin down the line. He becomes a great 4. If you can make the playoffs, Wheeler, Nola, Gibson, Eflin, that's a solid 4 there. And we can. Don't bring up any other names, Steven. Don't you dare do it. What do you think of training camp today? Did you see the reports since we're talking Eagles? Did you see everything about how bad training camp was? Oh no.
Are we talking about practice? Are we talking about practice? Come on, all right, listen.
In this situation, yes. We are.
Now, me and you've been real rough on JH. We've been real rough on him. We give him his criticism where he deserves, give him his praise where he deserves. But are we really talking about the first kind of real live thing where defense is going live and all that, and we're talking about that really? Stop.
I don't know if it's as much that.
Like it's the same thing. Like we're sitting there like
I'm not even talking about Jalen.
We're oohing and ahhing over Jalen Reagor's catching with no pads and freaking.
See, that's ridiculous too. Yeah, but at the same time, you've had a kid that looked mentally soft since we drafted him, and you got a guy, we heard a report 2 days ago that Nick Sirianni, or a few days ago, whatever, was all over his ass after a mistake in practice. The report that I saw on Twitter from one of the guys there covering
I'll take it because at the end of the day, I want them to be a running team. If they can't really pass the ball, that's fine. That works.
We need that to be the case. Exactly.
What this team should be doing anyways, Jason.
I don't need this offense. I don't need Jalen Hurts and this offense to think that they can be we can go out there and throw the ball 45 times again. No.
You should barely be thrown at 30. Barely.
You know what we want to try to do? We want to try to be what the Browns were last year. The way the Browns won football games last year, that's how we want to try to win football games. Run the ball a ton, control the clock, play good defense, take care of the football, and play good situational football, and you'll be okay. That's how we want to try to win football games. That type of smash mouth mentality. We just don't have the talent Cleveland does, so we're not going to win as many games, obviously. But that's the type of football you want to play. And if you win 7 or 8 games, that's a really successful season. You go in the next year saying, wow, hey, some good building blocks, right? That's where I'm kind of at with it. But I don't know. You never like to hear that. Like, forget about Jalen Hurts, forget about any one player. The offense just looked really bad today. Ugh. That's not good. You never want to hear they look bad. You want to like this or that, but they looked bad. Like what? They looked bad the whole day. They didn't look good at all. Like there was nothing. Like that's a little.
I guess I'll find out tomorrow night, man.
But in some ways, I thought about it like this, and I said maybe it's good because there are things like you find out your limitations as a football team, right? Like. If Nick Sirianni's trying to do certain things offensively, you really struggled in practice trying to do those things today. You learn what your team's capable of doing and what they're not doing. Okay, we're just not going to all right, that's not really working. We're not going to focus on doing that. Let's simplify things and focus the offense on this because we're doing this well and whatever. And that's the whole point of hopefully if you have a good defense, which we plan on having, great. Like you can simplify things offensively and try to make things as simple as possible for Jalen Hurts in his second year. with a bunch of young receivers that really haven't proven anything yet and all that type of stuff, right? Like that would be the ideal situation. I don't know. Am I the only one that like is Sirianni growing on you a little bit? Like I had zero expectations with the guy because I was trying to be fair, but like none of us knew anything about the fucking guy in Indy, right? But you know me, Steven. I'm always a fan of like what was my big thing about Doug Peterson? Like the dudes in the fucking media talking about getting ice cream and shit like that. Like couldn't stand that, right? Like I love as soon as I read the fact when I heard from one of the Eagles beat reporters that was there covering training camp that Sirianni got up in Jalen Reagor's face and was all up in his ass, telling him a new asshole about some type of mistake he made in practice. Ooh, it puckered me. Ooh, man, did I I'll tell you what. Man, my asshole puckered a little tight and my dick got a little hard and woo, I was like, oh, like I want to say, like, he got a little Bill Cowher in him. Is that what that is? It's like, something like that. I love a guy like that. Give me somebody that's going to be like, come here. Like, oh, I like that in a coach. Oh, I want that in Philly. Give me that guy. Doug Peterson was not any of that. And really, to be honest, Andy Reid was never any of that. Like, we never saw Andy do that with anybody. It was really rare. And I don't know, like, I kind of like the idea of a guy that's going to be a little rah-rah and get in people's faces and rattle their cage a little bit. I like that. Growing on me. It's growing on me by the day, Steven.
I already said I liked them. I thought, the early reports that like players weren't sold on. Like, dude, I'm so over the beat that covers the Philadelphia Eagles media is beyond me. Because did you not hear we're trading for Deshaun Watson again? I forgot. Like I seen that way earlier. As soon as we signed on, I forgot about that. Pull that one up.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. People are like he's going to go to jail. He's not. Dude, I might bet my left testicle he's not going to jail. That's how confident I am he's not going.
Say Bryce was up in here. We traded for Watson, I see.
I mean, I don't think we're going to trade for him at the end of the day. I don't think it's going to happen.
Emilio's actually the one that actually had a real comment for that one. I forgot about that one.
But, I mean, I don't think it's that crazy of an idea, especially if something happens, like from a legality perspective, obviously, I think they're worried about, if he gets charged or something like that. But if that gets cleared up and all they're worried about is a real point,
that's actually who I have my eye on when I'm going to practice tomorrow night. Is he's saying Seth and he corrected here. It's Zach McPherson, the third or fourth cornerback now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, one of the things I think we all should be happy is defense is back in Philadelphia. From what you're hearing, no more Jim Schwartz, bend and snap and break.
Yeah, I do like this new young coaching staff. They are like, it's like sometimes it's like, and I think we've talked about this in Philly for a while.
I think we're good on the back. Like, listen, I think we're good on the back end. I think adding a guy like Kerrigan to what you already have up front in that rotation right there.
People wanted to be Chris Long. I don't think he's going to be anything. But he's not a bad mind to have in your defensive.
No, dude, he's the Chris Long for this team. Absolutely,
so.
Huh?
I don't think so.
You don't? Why? I want to hear this.
One, I don't think this is a good enough team.
Why are you so out on the Kerrigan thing? I want to hear this one.
Well, I think Kerrigan's washed. I mean, to be honest, I think he's washed. Like, I mean, I think that's all part of it. It's like, now, that doesn't mean he's not a valuable player to have in this team because I think you've got a lot of young defensive players. He can help Derek Barnett. He can help Josh Sweat. He can help this young linebacking core. We've got a lot of young linebackers. A guy like Alex Singleton is probably going to levitate towards Ryan Kerrigan just because he wants to learn from this guy's work ethic. And the only way a guy like Alex Singleton sticks around in the NFL and has a roster spot coming from a place like the Canadian Football League is if he understands how to work his ass off and work his nuts off better than anybody else, right? Young guys like that might love the fact that Ryan Kerrigan is on the team and learn a lot from him. I just don't – Chris Long gave us something during that Super Bowl year. I really don't think we're going to get any production or I don't want to say any. I don't think we're going to get that much production.
Listen, even if he doesn't get there, like even if he leaves the sacks and the league in hurries, I'm happy.
I don't think he's going to. I think he's literally going to be a guy that's going to rotate in and out.
You don't think he's going to take significant snaps this season? That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, like he's just a rotational guy where you're like, hey, get in there because Barnett needs a break. It's but that's not that's a good thing, right? Like you've got as many bodies as you can throw in there as possible. But I'm not looking at him as a guy that's going to make any type of impact. Like that's not on the not an impact on the field as much as he'll make an impact maybe though on your team in other ways though. So that's not again I don't want to make it seem like I'm down on the signing. I think it could be a good signing in ways. This idea of I don't have any expectations for what he's going to give me as a player on the field. And I really don't look at him as a guy that's going to go, come out there and make an impact as a football player. He might just be a nice rotational piece to have and say, hey man, it's nice to have this many 6 or 7 different guys I can rotate in and out at any point.
They're about to call this Ed Herman Anton Menefeld fight.
Are they? I'm watching the Padres game at the moment.
Not right at the end of the second round. Menfeld hit him with a low kick. Oh wait, nope. They're gonna let it go. They're gonna let him fight. I called the doctor, and I'm like you called a doctor and to come look at the foot after, like you're about to come out to start the round. It's silly.
Where is this at? What channel is this on?
What, the fights?
Yeah.
ESPN.
Not
UFC.
down here, it's not. Oh, there, ESPN 2. Okay, there it is.
There's probably some type of sports going down there in Florida.
Well, I got to say the Hall of Fame ceremonies on fucking ESPN.
I'm with you there. I think he will make the best of his snaps, and I actually think Josh Sweat's going to be the starter on that side. Stop.
Josh Sweat, if everything's right physically with the knees, where he doesn't have to be limited, yeah, he could have a breakout year.
I think both Derek Barnett and Dillard won't be the starters on their sides sides of the ball this season. I think Jordan Mailata will be the starting left tackle, and I think Josh Sweat, injuries, excluded, will probably be the starter on that side too.
Yeah, defensively, I think we're in a good spot. Offensively, you're figuring a lot of things out, right? Defensively, you might be figuring a lot of things out too, but I think you're much happier with all your talent on that side. I'm excited for a guy like a Davion Taylor. I would love for a guy like Davion Taylor to prove a lot of people wrong in this city who were like, why the fuck did we draft this kid in the 3rd round a year ago? Playing linebacker in today's NFL is all about being able to go sideline to sideline, right?
All right.
And he's at least got the speed and athleticism that you like with that. They've been saying he's been tearing up camp. Like, would it not be nice to see a guy like that come out and emerge at the linebacker position, Steven?
Listen to this nonsense, dude. Blue City Empire Sports just found out that Eagles running back Miles Sanders is still dropping footballs. Might not make the 25-man roster if he keeps dropping footballs. That is absolutely ludicrous. He will be on the 25-man roster.
First of all, the NFL, it's not a 25-man. It's a 55-man roster in the NFL, not a 25-man roster. That's baseball you're thinking of. It's a 55-man roster.
Right there. There you go. Right there.
Yeah.
I'm just listen. Absolutely ludicrous, man. Like, listen, even if he is dropping footballs, they will absolutely will be on this roster. 25-man, 53-man, 60.
Will he lose snaps? He could lose snaps to Kerryon Johnson.
Listen, I will absolutely say that he keeps messing around. That's why they're all that's why they brought 5-6 guys in for this camp.
That's why they brought Kerryon Johnson in, because if he can stay healthy, he's a very solid running back. And yeah, you need a guy that, like, listen, Miles, if you keep fumbling or this or that, like, whatever, like, and people want to blame Doug Peterson, and me and you. We're not like, we'll blame Doug Peterson. Like we're not like Doug Peterson crotch sniffers, right? Like we're not like, we have no problem calling Doug Peterson for what it is.
Can we quantify keeping a first round on the sideline for a guy just learned football 4 years? Absolutely, we can. If he's beating his,
you play the best player. What the fuck do you mean?
Like, listen, guess what? It's called, okay, it's not working. Oh, someone else has
Especially
an
because it's a
injury.
new regime now.
Oh,
Like this is the way the NFL works, Jason.
There's a left tackle that just went down somewhere around the league, and you go and move his ass. That's what that's how that happens. You get the
this
best
is how
back.
the NFL works, Jason. Like Doug Peterson and that whole regime, they had Andre Dillon. Now you got a whole new coaching staff in here. They could absolutely hate Andre Dillon.
Hey, whatever. As much as the NFL is changing things around, my friend, you never know. You never know.
I have no idea.
It might be 75. If we,
I have no
if
idea
we
about a lot of shit.
well, we include the practice squad. It might be. I think was it 7 people, right?
Sure.
I think so. Well, it's I'm done. All right, but want to get your thoughts into Thursday's game. Obviously, first preseason game. Football's back for us here in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh, as per usual. What do you want to see? What are you looking for? Who do you want to see to stand out, and who do you want to see to get the bulk of time, carries, plays, snaps, etc.?
As far as preseason goes, I don't know if I really want to talk about preseason games. I don't know if that's necessarily my thing, but like if we're talking about guys that I need to see something from this year, and I've been getting ripped by like our own Charles Moranin and people like that for it. But like we talked about Miles Sanders. What's his name? Brought up Miles Sanders. I brought it up multiple times on this show. Miles Sanders is a guy for me that I'm not sold on. I don't, part of the reason I think they went out and got Kerryon Johnson is because I don't know if they think, I don't know if they are sold on Miles Sanders being a 3-down back. We ripped Doug Peterson a ton in this, me and you have at least personally, and Doug got a ton of heat last year because Miles Sanders wasn't in football games with 10 minutes to go in the game in the fourth quarter and shit. Was that because Doug Peterson was choosing for him not to be in the game, or is that because Miles Sanders just wasn't physically capable of being in the game with 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to go? Banged up, fatigued, whatever, yada, yada, yada. We talked about all the drop passes. He went from a guy that looked like he could be the next Marshall Faulk his rookie year to a guy that couldn't catch COVID in a New York City nursing home. So, you're kind of in positions where, for me at least, I think there's way too many people that are way too high on Miles Sanders and what he is. I need, for me, he might be the most important player on this football team this year because we are talking about an offense that we want to be. We don't want to have to throw the ball 40 times a game, right? We don't want to have to make Jalen Hurts do too much. And that means that Miles Sanders is going to have the best year he's had as a pro so far. And, I don't know if he's capable of being that guy that can carry the load of what an every down back is. And I don't know if the team thinks he is either. And I think that's part of the reason they went out and got Kerryon Johnson, because they think if we're going to run the ball 40 times a game, it's going to have to be 20, 25 times with Sanders and another 15 with Kerryon Johnson, because Miles Sanders can't play every snap like that. I'm legitimately concerned about his ability to be a 3-down back for me, play every single snap the way the elite running backs do.
I don't think I have a problem with having it by committee if you're using him in different options, as long as you're not becoming predictable in the ways that you go about doing that.
You're talking about Kerryon Johnson and Sanders together?
Yeah, well, no, you're just doing it by regardless if it's Kerryon Johnson or if you're just splitting it around, giving them different looks.
The other two backs are garbage, so I think it's going to be Sanders and Johnson because the other two shouldn't sniff the field. But
I agree with this part of your assessment that a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans compare him to Saquon Barkley.
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree with that aspect.
People think way too much of him. Our own Charles Moranin, I think, he's fair at times with his assessments of him, but that's his son, right? And there's too many people in this fan base that are like that, where they really do protect him in that way and view him in that way, where they're like, he's gonna, that guy's gonna. He's one of the best all-around backs in football. The dude hasn't even shown you that he can play a full season as your every down back, and people want to sit here and crown him already. Can't stand that in this city. Stop fucking doing that.
Yep. But looks like our first guest for this evening is in the back. So let me real quick throw him in here. What's going on, Seth? How we doing this afternoon, man? I can't hear you, sir. No. Can't hear him. That's just the way it goes, isn't it? We're gonna back him in a second.
We'll get him. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Now we'll real quick go back, but let's try it again.
Ooh, that's
Seth.
a good breaking ball.
How about now? Sorry, can you hear us? Seth, can you hear us, sir? Can you hear us now? Roughness. Try it again in a minute. But who do you think is making it? Do you think we're getting, what, 3?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Sanders, Kerryon Johnson, Boston Scott, and what? I mean, Jordan Howard re-signed, right? I mean, there might be a chance of there being 4 backs. Somebody there has to be willing to play special teams, though. Boston Scott's probably the only one that's going to play special teams, returning kicks. That's why I like Boston Scott as your third running back, because you know he can return punts, he can return kicks. So it's going to be Sanders, Kerryon Johnson, Boston Scott. Yeah, probably Kenneth Gainwell. I would think Kenny Gainwell is probably going to be the other guy that makes the roster. Howard might get cut before preseason ends. You know what I'm saying? He might be one of those guys that there's no reason to have him. If Kerryon Johnson can be healthy, there's no reason to have Howard on your roster, paying him whatever you're paying him, even though it's not a ton. You'd rather cut him and have Gainwell probably be your 4th running back. So, yeah, Sanders, Johnson, Scott, Gainwell. That would be my 4 running backs. We have him back with us?
No, I just sent him a message because he was saying he was set up, but that was, I think, before he was trying.
Yeah, like Holyfield, like Jordan Howard, like complete. Like I don't even know why we re-signed Jordan. I guess because you just felt like you needed to have a guy because you didn't, you don't know what Gainwell is going to be, right? So I guess ideally, like what you're thinking is like you just have to have a guy like that on your roster just to go in the training camp with, and just because that's how it is. But coming out of preseason, Howard almost seems like the ideal cut candidate, right? Like every preseason, there's ideal candidates where you're like, that's just an ideal candidate to get cut. And Jordan Howard,
I think, unfortunately, Jordan Howard might be kind of that one.
The cut casualties, right? Like,
yeah. Gainwell and Holyfield might be guys that can kind of refilter back through.
Yeah, they're on your practice squad and they come up if you need them to because Johnson's hurt or whatever the case might be. But yeah,
let's try this again. He's popping back in here. Let's see what happens. I can hear Sam this time.
Yeah, nice.
There we go.
I'm kind of slow, man. So.
Oh, it's all right, man. Listen, it took us a while to get situated with this too. When COVID started and we went from like studio to having to figure all this out from scratch again. So no harm, no foul. Yeah. We still got you here, my friend.
we're all a few cans short of a 6-pack.
Hey, I was like the 4th smartest kid in resource. I was like fucking copying off motherfuckers in there. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. First and foremost, appreciate your time this afternoon, this evening, Seth. I guess what we typically do over here, obviously you're new to HD over here. Give the fans kind of a little background. How you got into combat sports. Who you are and what's going on with you right now.
Yeah, shit. One of my best friends was, he was fighting. His name's Little B. He's tiny, but he could be one of the funniest dudes you ever met. He kept telling me come in and train or whatever, and I didn't think nothing of it. I went in, met the dude. He's like, "You ready to fight?" And I was like, "I am." So I fought like a week later, got smoked in 56 seconds, and all I knew was I couldn't wait to do that again. Like, I didn't know what the fuck it was. Like, MMA was so new that I just all I gave a fuck about was finding a way to compete. I didn't give a fuck about going to fucking RTO Sullivan's and hanging out with motherfuckers and all talking shit behind each other's back. That just what, like, I just found something that all I know is I got my ass kicked. I wanted to figure out why I got my ass kicked, and it was the most fun I had in a long time. And I've been fighting ever since, man.
Absolutely, it's taking you to the highest of highs. You been there on the Ultimate Fighter. Been to the UFC. Big fights along the way here. Obviously, you're getting ready to get back into it here again. Familiar face, little bit closer, familiar environment. Getting a rematch there with former Ultimate Fighter winner Jesse Taylor. How important is it to kind of avenge that win there? I think it was like 4 years ago or so. You guys initially matched up.
It's every fight's different, and if you ask anybody who's been doing any sport for a number of years, you realize that there's, when you're younger, part of being an athlete is convincing yourself you can do anything. Everyone's telling you can't. Every day you wake up in your life, every person you interact with is probably telling you, like, hey, maybe you should go get a 9-to-5 or whatever, and that's your mindset. But you realize through years of doing it that there's so many variables going into fights. There's so many different situations, ring size. I mean, there's so many things that could be added up. I'm just happy I get a chance to compete against Jesse again because he's a tough opponent. He's an extremely durable guy. He's a cool guy too, man. I like him. But make no mistake about it, I will have no problem trying to knock him out. That being said, it's almost when you know someone more, you want to win even more. It's like some of the best.
It's like you're a cool dude. I know you and all that, but at the same time, I just I want to put my hand through your face. I want to get my hand raised. It's nothing personal.
Like, bro, some of the best fights I've seen are training partners who fucking love each other, beat the living fuck out of each other in the gym.
I do. You're so right about that. When you look at MMA fights, and 9 times out of 10, like when you go back and look, not just in MMA, and you go back and some of the greatest boxing fights ever weren't even from guys that were real rivals. There were guys that knew each other, that you just had that intimate knowledge, and they go to war. And those are the ones you just remember, like ones that you had those connections that maybe not even directly training partners, but they've trained before in the past. Their circles that have come across. They've been in the training room. Those are some of the real fun fights.
It's easy to get up and go run when you're getting ready for someone you know is tough as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what he's gonna bring. Like, I know how tough he is. I've trained with really good D1 wrestlers, and that one thing wrestlers do is they usually don't beat themselves, meaning they show up in shape. Like, they can go 3-5s, or they can go 5-5s, whatever it is. It's very rare that you see a wrestler gas out, from not taking shots. Like, sometimes they'll take shots and get tired. That's a really good fight, but you don't ever see them gas out, like, beat themselves. They always show up on weight. They always fucking show up ready to go, and it's easy to get up and run when you got guys like that coming for you.
Yeah, it's one of these guys. Yeah, Jesse's definitely one of these guys who's in shape, always ready, and he's one of those guys that he'll take you 15 minutes, 25 minutes to whatever the fight may be. He's durable. Those guys. I got this guillotine, and next thing you know, he just pops his head out. he's one of those guys.
He's a mongoloid, dog. He's tough as fuck. And he's evolved too, man. I mean, even when you seen him go on the second Ultimate Fighter. Like, he's pulling off submissions. He's finding little wrinkles in his game and positions that he's good at. you know. So I'm interested to get out there. He was my first fight back from having ACL surgery. Not why he beat me. He beat me because he's better than me that night. That's it. But I definitely feel like I'm moving better, and that was one thing going in that last fight. I was like, just trying to, I just wanted to fight again. I didn't know if I'd ever fight again going through something like that. You're laying on the couch, you think of all kinds of crazy shit, you're just every little fucking insecurity you got when you're getting ACL surgery, it comes back in your mind. And I remember just being so thankful to compete again. But I was worried that I would not have enough gas in the tank when I did get back to my feet to put some sting on anything. And I clipped him a little bit in the third round, but I didn't capitalize on those positions. And I feel like I'm in a better position to capitalize on those if I get those same opportunities.
I mean, it's a different time. You both, like you said, you both grown, things of that nature. It's definitely gonna be a fun one. I know one thing. When guys like you come together, man, this should not be one that people need to sit down for. Don't go to the concourse and go get a drink on this fight. You guys are gonna bring it.
Yeah, he's dude. I like Jesse a lot. Shit, last time we fought, he beat me up for 3 rounds, and Chris Lieben, who's a ref now, it was in his corner. But I ain't worried about that. Chris gonna do his job. I ain't even stressed.
Oh yeah. We've had Chris on here before in the past. He takes his the ref and the judging very, very seriously. Very seriously.
Hey, I don't care if he was in Jesse Taylor's corner last time we fought, and he's a ref now. Because he's fought, he'll do his job. I believe that in my heart.
I think you would rather have someone like him in there because he knows what to look for. Like if you guys are banging and you're in a bad spot, he's gonna look at you a little bit more than some of these referees. And I'm glad you brought that up because we've seen a lot more stuff here going on in MMA and some of the bigger shows lately. Miranda Maverick gets kind of short-ended on a decision. A lot of people felt like she did the majority work, wins the fight. Then we're seeing a lot more of these things happen where these bigger promotions, whatever, you're still having problems with refereeing and judging, with having a lot of inconsistencies in these sports. And we're sitting here 20, 30 years later in the sport and we're still having these issues.
Go ahead. The problem is they're not going to, there's no incentive to stop it, right? Like, if every 4 years they had a commission and every 4 years they could renew that contract or they could get a new commission. They could get a new business to run that organization. And I guarantee you, without a fucking doubt in my mind, that if these fucking stupid fucking refs and these stupid fucking judges that have no idea what the fuck they're doing looked across the cage and thought, what the fuck is this person doing? Like, I better finish this fight. This fucking person has no fucking clue what they're looking at. No clue. And that could be, well, you could say, well, you don't fucking know. It's like, nah, dog, I know. Like, I know. I'm in the game. And listen, unless these fucking refs get, if there was an incentive where they would lose their business because it's ran by the government, the U.S. Boxing Commission, it's like they're always going to have their job. So this guy does a really shitty fucking job, and they're going to talk about it until someone else does a shitty fucking job, and it's going to go away, and they're going to talk about it until someone else does a shitty fucking job, but no one's ever going to fucking change it because no matter what, they're going to keep getting that check. So until they fucking change until they fucking make it a fucking actual business to where you're not forced to deal with this shitty government agency that has no fucking
because they just bring in whoever they want. We don't really see anyone of note in that knows anything that involved in it. Regardless, we're talking the referees, the judges. Sometimes you're looking down and they're like what is this person has ever known about combat sports? But then when you go to look it up, it tells you have to be that you have to have training and well, no, in PA they say you have to have at least trained or been a coach or something. And I'm looking at I've covered events at those things, and I'm looking at the refereeing judges. I'm like, there's not an athletic bone in a single person in any of these people's bodies.
Look and listen, it's fucking retarded. Like, it's so fucking crazy to me. It's like fucking Aunt Janina, didn't fucking make it doing her what she really wanted to do, and she needs a gig. So here you go. You're the head of the fucking boxing commission. It's like, what the fuck do you know about boxing? Absolutely fucking nothing. Like,
Aunt Janina related to? Is Aunt Jelita related to Aunt Jemima?
Whatever. She could probably be a ref too. It's so fucking crazy to me. And like, if I'm a mechanic, I have to get certified as a fucking transmission technician. If I'm a carpenter, I have to go to fucking carpenting school and I have to learn how to set the trusses. If I'm a welder and I don't get the right weld, like, they have zero credibility, zero experience. They get paid, and no matter how shitty they are at their job, they keep getting paid. It's the fucking craziest thing in the world. No one talks about it. It's like, but it's never going to stop happening, because no matter what, they're going to keep the business. The business is not going to go anywhere. The number one problem with that is there's no competition. If there was competition and that person could lose their job, they would do their job better, or they would get someone that could. That's as simple as it gets. Every major sport is all about competition. If you don't compete later, motherfucker, like, you're gone. But the refs and the judges, they don't have to compete. Like, it doesn't matter, It's crazy. So I'm happy.
And not just that, like, even the people who run in the commissions, they have no business. From top to bottom, like you said, it's just
look at the opportunity they would have right here. Like, there's fucking guys out there that fucking, guys that fucking built the sport, the Don Fries. And I'm not saying he needs a job or anything. I'm just using him as an example. The Don Fries, the Dan Severins,
yep.
Fucking Boss Rutens, Chris Liebens, Frank Trigg. You got all these guys that fucking gave everything they could and built that fucking organization and made, like, those guys made kids like me want to be a fighter. And they could fucking give back to the sport and make a little coin and do a better fucking job. Like, because they know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't understand why I don't have a guy like Chuck Liddell be the California State Athletic Commissioner, considering he's still running around here trying to find fights.
It's and the older they get, the older you get, the better you are at taking a wider lens out and seeing more, right? So the older they get, they would be able to spot guys that ain't right. Maybe he should fucking go get this test, or guys that, they'd be able to spot that shit faster. It wouldn't happen. And which would be, the fighters would be more safe. If a guy comes in fucking extremely overweight, and this lady, all she ever did was do fucking computer graphics, and this guy comes in, he's fighting at 155, and he's won fucking 89. And like, a lot of guys that are vets will look at him and be like, that motherfucker, there's no fucking way that guy's making weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could stop that dude from trying to cut too hard and hurting himself. There's so many examples you can use, but they just don't give a fuck about it, because they're not doing their job. Because if they were doing their job, they would get better at protecting the fighter.
It's all about the money, brother. You know that.
Exactly. Drives me crazy if you can't tell.
Of course.
I get heated about it.
But on that note, give you a little shameless plug. Speaking of all about the money, make sure you guys are checking out the fight, going to get tickets. I'm sure you're selling tickets for this one, right, brother?
Yeah, well, shit, I'm in Arizona, so anyone that wants to come out, they know how to get a hold of me, and I'll for sure kick them some tickets. The more people, the better it is. It's gonna be a good time, man.
Yeah, anyone who's in that Arizona area. Oh, always. I say it all the time. I've seen like a lot of the guys over like the past 10 years who are in the upper northeast quadrant, fight on the regional scene. A lot of them are in the UFC now. It's crazy to watch it come to fruition. It's like 10 years. Watching them. 4 or 5 years ago they were making their pro debut or whatever on the regional scene. And now they're almost ranked top 10 in the world in the UFC.
The new kids coming up, I never put no thought into it, but now like there's kids, there's kids that train at our gym. Hold on, I gotta shut this shit off. There's guys that train at our gym that have been training since they were like 8-9 years old. And when I was a kid, like everyone that was super gangster or whatever, they looked like a gangster. But now there's kids that wear Vans and have fucking long blonde hair and shit, and they will head kick the shit out of you. And like these new kids are so good, dude. They grew up in a gym, like wrist control, and there's so many things in the game, like pace and rhythm and combinations, and it's so much fun to watch these kids, like how much they've evolved and how exciting they are to watch fight. Like it's so crazy sometimes watching these fight. You're just like, what the hell was that? Like it's so insane, dude, to see how much the sport's grown.
What's probably the craziest thing you've seen, that you didn't expect to see with this sport that's grown over the past, 5 years or so?
The craziest fucking like instant in a fight, or
just if you want to go instant in a fight or just in general, what's going on with the sport?
Just like, well, I used to bag on when girls are coming up in the game. I used to be like, oh, well, they can't finish anybody. It's boring to watch a fight. But girls be lacing each other up now. So like, I can't talk shit about that no more because they be knocking each other the fuck out, and they've rapidly grown extremely fast. That's fucking crazy.
I remember covering Invicta cage side for Rose Namajunas' second pro fight. When she armbarred the girl in like 9 seconds, I think it was. And
yeah, it's crazy.
But and then you look at where it is now. Like she's now on her second title run. She's slayed 2 giants down there at 115 pounds.
She's probably my favorite fighter of all time right now.
Dude, like she's just so like when you look at her, she's just like the most unassuming person you'd ever meet. But you get in there in the cage, and she's just she's a Beethoven symphony. She's just what she does is beautiful, man. We lost you there. No, we lost you there. Oh, man. Here we go. Wait. He came back for a second. Where'd he go? Oh, no.
I was just going to talk to him about the Diamondbacks. You said he's a big Arizona sports fan, and I'm watching.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna wrap this last part of it up with. Talk to him about some of his Arizona sports.
I've got the D-backs and Padres game on. Oh, look at that play! Oh, he touched. Oh, that was dirty. Yeah, he touched second base with it. Nice.
I'll see if he gets to kid himself back in here. We still got one more after him. That'll be some fun. I don't want to killing myself before now and then. What a week.
Give me one second.
What was that, brother?
You're still gonna be able to hear me. You just give me a second.
I gotta give you a second. What are you doing now? You're stripping
I
for us?
gotta go. I don't remember my bets. The ones that I currently have going. I gotta go check my bets in progress to remember exactly. I know I've got the Reds. That one's looking good. The Astros through 5. I know that one's looking good. The Blue Jays game is tied. I can't remember the other bet I had, so I gotta go check it real quick. I had somebody plus 1.5. I had the Orioles plus 1.5, and that's not looking good right now.
What about any MMA? Did you catch any MMA bets, or you didn't get a chance to hop on that this week?
I ain't betting on the MMA right now. I mean, I bet on dudes I don't even know how to say their fucking names, and I lose every fucking time.
I think his phone just died. It says I lost you, amigo.
I thought it was Bobby Quintilla the other week. It was Bobby Quintanilla.
Bobby Quintilla. Oh man.
See, I think that's my rule of thumb. If I don't know how to say your name, I can't bet on you. Like I'm not. People have like, have you been betting on the Olympics? I was like, no. They're like, why not? I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. Like, I don't. I have a rule. I'm not enough of a degenerate yet to like bet on things like or people. I like. If I don't know who the fuck the person is, I'm not betting on it or them. Like you're not at all. Oh, the summer of Cena. Oh, he's back on SmackDown. Is your son excited?
Oh my god, dude! He heard that he was in Suicide Squad. I'm like, Connor, you knew this. We told you this like months ago. But you forgot that fast? Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, because he's 9. Of course he did.
You forgot like 2 minutes after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't even. It just went in one ear and out the other. It didn't even. That shit never registered. What are you talking about?
Oh. Well, even though Seth lost out on us a little bit, Mr. Rich is here. So, without
Richie
any
Rich?
Mr. Rich, not
No.
Richie Rich.
Richie Rich.
Oh God, this kid. All right. So, without any further ado, our second and final guest of this evening needs no introduction, really. Mr. Shannon the Cannon. Rich, how we doing this afternoon, my friend?
Yo, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. A little bit better reception than Seth. We kept losing him.
Which
well, can't fix that guy. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey man, well, first and foremost, appreciate your time jumping on here with me. Back here on A today. Obviously, you got some big things going on here. Ragnarok BKB coming here August 21st. How excited are you for this one, man?
Man, I'm excited for every fight. But this one, yeah, definitely, because not only am I the main event, but it's for world title in Norway. Stan and Andrew have just literally put on an amazing show. Guys, this whole COVID thing has been crazy, man. They're making everybody jump through hoops. You got to be vaccinated. You got to quarantine, blah, 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 blah. So, man, it's just it is just crazy. But anyway, I got my tickets. They're flying me out business class. So I get to sleep. Finally, I'm getting treated right by a promoter. Man, these guys are treating me so good, man. I can't even tell you how good Ragnarok is treating the fighters. Main event world title fight, August 21st at 9:30 a.m. Arizona time. You can go to the link, and you know what's really cool? It's only $12, so it's $12 USA dollars, and yeah, man, it's good, man. Everybody can afford to watch it. It's bare knuckle. It's in the morning, so it's really cool, man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Stanley sent me over to thanks. So anyone who needs to check it out, it's $8.99. There's the link.
Yeah.
WBKF.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Actually, guys, you gotta give me a hold on a second. I gotta grab something. Hold on.
Are we able to share that on all of our A2D video platforms? Are we able to share that on like Facebook and all that, or what?
Did he just take off?
Of course. He left. Yeah, he had to leave it. Well, he had to leave for a second. I've got to.
Yeah.
His dog was barking, as you could hear. There was something going on.
So
I'm guessing it had to do with that from my intuition.
Intuition. You don't got ESPN, but you know.
Yeah, he'll be back here in a minit.
All
but
right. So anyway,
no,
man, the website
good to have you on.
let me give you the website. It's www.wkb.tv. And if you click that link, World Kickboxing. I mean, World Bare Knuckle Boxing.
Sorry, guys.
www.worldwb bare knuckle k.
Yeah. See, I'll throw it back up here again.
WBKF.tv.
There you go.
There you go.
For €8.99, which is like $12.
How much is that Canadian?
Man, I have no idea about Canadian. That's probably like about like $17.
So
17 Canadian.
So how excited about the Norway as far as the venue there?
Super excited. I've never been in Norway. They have the Northern Lights over there. I'm really excited. Hopefully it's we're in time, it's the right time of year and we can see the Northern Lights. I'd really like to see that. I get to go over there and hang out with all these true Vikings. I'm a big historian, and man, Norway is just full of history. I can't wait to get there.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Stanley's been hyping me up the last few months. Obviously, we've had a few of you guys on here leading up to it. Push back, obviously.
Did you guys freeze on me? What happened?
Am I freezing or are you freezing? Oh, no. Here we go.
Here we go again, Steven.
Yeah, man.
Oh, no.
Hello.
Oh, no. You there? Something. This is not good.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah. He's frozen. Steven, what's going on with you over there?
Yeah, dude. Everything's going on with me, man.
I hear your dog up there trying to kill somebody.
Oh, man. Here we go. Freaking world. No, we're not doing. Listen. I love my Phillies, but that's not happening.
Yeah. You know what I'd really like to see is like a Phillies Giants playoff series where we could kick Kapler's ass. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? But like Phillies Giants wild card game matchup or something.
I mean, listen, that'd be funny. I'd love that for the wild card. I already said I feel like I want them to get this division to get in there and at least get to the NLCS, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's you don't have to exactly like you just get to the play, win the wild card game, even if you know what I mean. Even if you don't make it to the NLCS, if you win the wild card game and you play in the division series and you play somebody tough, that's good stuff, right? You all right over there, Steven? You look a little pale.
Yeah, it's been a long day, dude. I've been fucking running around all day.
You look like me when I'm working baseball games and I'm slightly dehydrated. And
dude, like I said, dude, like literally, like when I got home, it was like when I got a hold of you, I was just running in the door. So
you look like me when I'm about to suffer from heat stroke on a baseball field. Yeah. You sure we don't need to call 911? Are you?
Nah, but give it a few more minutes. If we don't get Shannon back on here, maybe we'll not.
Hey, I'm watching the UFC. That was a good right hand.
Ooh.
Yay! Got him.
Yeah.
Knocked down Anderson Dos Santos. He's not no Anderson Silva, is he?
No, sir. No, sir. What are your thoughts on some of these tonight? Would you like Derek Lewis or Gage?
Derek Lewis be the guy that swings on people and knocks them out with one punch, right?
He's got one punch power, yeah.
I like that guy. Knock him out with one punch. I like that guy.
I'm with Derek Lewis too.
he was getting his ass kicked last fight, and then he knocked the dude out with one punch.
Mm-hmm.
So. Oh damn! Yeah, he's big as shit.
They're showing the stuff for the green fight, and then I think it's Kevlev.
Oh damn! The dude with the red hair and the white boy were going the fuck at it. Holy hell!
Well, I'm not hearing nothing from Shannon.
Hey! Oh look, back fist. Oh, yo! Damn! Should have spent less time in the tattoo chair and more time training to not get you knocked out, get your ass knocked out by some dude that looked like MJF.
Well,
He looked
I
like
haven't heard
MJF.
anything back from him. I am feeling a little bit under the weather. You want to wrap this one up, bro? Because unless you got anything else to add, because
I don't have anything else to add for nothing, Steven. I've got to go umpire in the morning. I've got 4 games tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
There was rain delays today.
I'm gonna reschedule with Shannon. My freaking head's killing me, dude. As you said, I look a shade off, so I might want to wrap this one up. Reschedule it with Shannon. Obviously, when the internet is working better, the connections are working better with our guests. Zach, anything you want to do before we get ready to wrap it up?
Peace and love and marijuana.
And we will have more BKFC Ragnarok guests on next week. Other than that, I'm Steve. He's Zach. This was A2D Weekly Roundup. I'll catch you later, guys. Peace.